Do your stone walls look like this? Want to make them look better, but don't know how? Hey everyone, my name is Smitty, and I'm going to show you how to take your stone walls from simple to advanced using some easy techniques. Hope you all enjoy, but without further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, let's get right into it. Okay, so working with stone. So whether you're working on a stone structure or maybe a defensive wall made of stone, all these concepts should apply. So if we use this base layer wall here as a starting point, how would I go about making this look better? So this is something that I would commonly see in some stone builds and maybe some beginners who are using stone, is that they'll actually just stack the stone pieces right on top of each other. And it's not a super big deal, but you'll see that in doing this, you create this gridded crease that lines up right with each other. And that's not realistic to how stone would actually be placed or put together. And what you actually need to do is actually need to offset this. And it's a super subtle detail, but it actually really helps improve just the way that the stone wall looks. Let me show you an example. So if we just go ahead and redo this base layer, maybe we'll just do it out in here in front. So I think it's 7 pieces, and then I think it's 6 pieces high. So 14 meters by 6 meters. So instead of placing it like that, where it's just on top of each other, you should just offset it with one piece. So maybe you could just use the 1x1 piece to create an offset pattern. And then from here, just pull it all the way across again. And so if we continue this pattern, just alternating the offset of these stones, you'll see that the creases are split halfway and they alternate. And again, it's a super subtle difference here, but it just looks a little bit more realistic when it comes to how stone would actually be woven together and constructed. So let's just go ahead and finish off the pattern here. Alright, so there's step 1. So as you can see, it looks much better. Just being slightly offset looks way more authentic, way more realistic in terms of how stone would be woven together in reality. And again, very subtle detail here, but I think it does a lot to improve the overall aesthetics of whatever stone wall or structure you're working on. Alright, so now that we've addressed the concept of offsetting the stone pieces, the next steps is really all about adding depth and detail to this structure. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually establish depth to it by establishing pillars that are going to sit out in front of this base layer. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is establish where the pillars are going to go out here in front. So kind of mark them out here, and then just ensuring that they're equidistant apart. So maybe I want like 3 meters. Yeah, we'll go 3 meters spacing in between each section. And the reason we want to make this equidistant is to ensure that this is a repeatable pattern that can continue for however long the wall or structure is. So we just have a little sample space here, but it could be extended farther if it was bigger. And so what I will do now here is build up these pillar sections, while also alternating the stone pieces to continue that concept of offset creases. So I'm alternating with the 2x1 and the 1x1 stone pieces. So now what I'll do here is just connect these pillar sections just with some stone arches. Maybe we'll do that. And then connect them also with a layer of stone above. Okay, great. So even just from establishing pillars and just connecting it, we can see that we've established a bit of depth to the wall, and it's no longer one-dimensional. So we can start seeing how this is going to be a repeatable pattern for however long our wall is. Okay, so the next step I would do here is we're actually going to work on the upper segment of the wall. And we're going to create a bit of a lip here, or in the case of this wall, it's actually going to be a double lip, and I'll show you what that means. So from here, I'm gonna just build out a bit of a lip here on the stone wall just to give a little more depth, create a bit of an overhang. And then what I'm also gonna do is a double lip. So holding shift and breaking the snapping, I'm just gonna custom place as far as over as I can go. Maybe we'll do a 1x1 piece here. We'll place it here. We do the 1x1 piece just so it stays offset, and then we'll pull that across. So again, we are establishing a bit of depth and an overhang here at the top of the wall. And what I will also do is I will establish some battlements. So just spacing these 1x1 piece blocks one space apart, creating some defensive battlements. So if this was a wall, you could stand up on top of it and hide behind as just like a defensive structure. Okay, so with that, the stone portion of this wall is complete. What it really comes down to now is dressing it up in a way that you think looks nice. So for me, and this is totally optional based on whatever your preference is for building and what looks good to your eye, but sometimes when we're working with stone, it can look a little bit monochromatic with a lot of just the similar stone pieces, and so I like to actually implement a bit of wood kind of accent or break up the monochromatic stone look. And so won't overdo it, but maybe just find places where we can line a bit of beams. So maybe we'll come under here. And maybe we'll bring out some support beams here on the pillars. So we'll use the 45-degree beams here. Maybe we will also tuck in some back here. So again, very subtle with my application of the wood. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to lose the core stone feeling that I have here, but just enough to kind of break up the monochromatic look and just accent it with the wood. Maybe I'll also just add some here. Alright, and so maybe I'll leave it at that. Again, don't want to overwhelm it with wood, but it does just nicely accent the stone wall, add a little bit more detail to it, and again, break up the gray from all the stone. And finally, all we gotta do is just continue to decorate it with banners, lighting, whatever we see fit. So maybe what we'll do here is, well, actually, what I want to do here is create a bit of a lighting area. So maybe I will use just the burger lanterns. I'll just place one there. I like placing the stone arch here as well. I think that just adds a little bit of detail that I like. Another lantern. And then maybe we'll use a banner, so use yellow. Bring it out from the pillar a little bit to here. Okay, yeah, so I like that. So we don't gotta go too crazy with the decoration or anything like that, but it already looks way better than it did before. Just a little more interesting, a little bit of color in here with banners, which I like, but as we can see, it's just a repeatable pattern. So however long that wall needs to go, or if it's structured and it needs to go up, you can just kind of repeat that pattern and it'll just look really nice and clean. Okay, so there you guys have it, just a bit of my process. I hope by breaking it down in this way, it really helps show how we can start from something simple and just layer into something more complex and something that looks a little bit nicer. Hope you all found this helpful. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe. I'll try to do some more of these bite-sized tutorials in the future, but until then, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.